I've always had an irrational fear of clowns. Those painted faces and exaggerated grins seemed to hide something sinister beneath. Little did I know that my fear would lead me to the most terrifying experience of my life. One evening, while driving through a desolate stretch of highway, I noticed a weathered sign that read, "The Circus of Shadows, tonight only." Curiosity got the best of me, and I followed the signs into the woods until I arrived at an eerie, abandoned circus tent. Inside, the air grew icy, and the smell of dampness hung heavy. The audience was sparse, but the clowns were numerous, each wearing grotesque makeup and tattered costumes. They moved with unnatural grace, their eyes locked on me. As the show began, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder and a whisper in my ear. "Welcome to our circus, where fear is the main attraction." Panic seized me as I realized I was trapped. The clowns closed in, their laughter echoing in my nightmares, and the nightmare was far from over. The show unfolded like a bizarre nightmare. Clowns with sinister grins danced and pranced around the darkened circus tent. Their exaggerated movements were both captivating and horrifying, as if they were possessed by some malevolent force. I tried to make sense of it all, to convince myself that it was just an elaborate act, but there was an undeniable air of malevolence that clung to the atmosphere. The audience, consisting of a few unlucky souls like myself, sat in stunned silence, unable to tear our eyes away from the grotesque spectacle unfolding before us. The ringmaster, a tall and skeletal figure with piercing yellow eyes, took center stage. His voice was a chilling whisper that echoed through the tent. "Ladies and gentlemen," he hissed, "prepare to witness the most terrifying performance of your lives." With a flourish, he gestured to a cage in the corner of the tent. Inside, a figure shrouded in darkness stirred. Slowly, the creature emerged, and I felt my heart freeze in my chest. It was a clown like no other, its features obscured by a mask of pure white. Its eyes, however, were a soul-piercing shade of crimson, and they seemed to bore into my very soul. The clown moved with an unsettling grace, its limbs contorting in ways that defied the laws of nature. As the spotlight focused on the mysterious clown, the rest of the world seemed to fade into obscurity. It was as if we were the only two entities in the universe, and I was its unwitting captive. The clown reached into its tattered costume and produced a single red balloon. With deliberate slowness, it extended the balloon toward me. I hesitated for a moment, my fear battling my curiosity. But eventually, I took the balloon. The moment my fingers touched the rubber surface, a searing pain shot through my hand, and I cried out in agony. The clown's laughter, a high-pitched, maniacal sound, filled the tent as I clutched my throbbing hand. The audience erupted into hysterical laughter, seemingly oblivious to my suffering. The pain subsided as quickly as it had come, but something had changed within me. I felt a connection to the clown, as if we were bound by some invisible thread. The ringmaster's voice echoed once more. "Behold our newest recruit," he declared, and the audience's laughter intensified. I was seized by a paralyzing terror as I realized what had just transpired. I had become a part of this nightmarish circus. The clown in the white mask approached me, its crimson eyes locked onto mine. It reached out and caressed my cheek with a gloved hand. The touch was surprisingly gentle, but it sent a chill down my spine. "What have you done to me?" I whispered, my voice trembling. The clown's lips curved into a grotesque smile beneath its mask. It leaned in close, and I could feel its cold breath against my ear. "You are one of us now," it whispered in a voice that sounded like a chorus of tortured souls. I tried to back away, to escape the tent, but an invisible force held me in place. The laughter of the audience grew louder, more frenzied, and the tent seemed to close in around me. The circus tent itself began to transform. The walls twisted and contorted, taking on grotesque, nightmarish shapes. The once familiar exit now led to a dark and foreboding labyrinth, with no hope of escape. I stumbled through the labyrinthine corridors, each turn leading me deeper into the heart of the nightmare. The walls seemed to pulse and breathe, and strange, otherworldly symbols glowed ominously. In the distance I could hear the echoing laughter of the clowns, growing louder with each passing moment. They were hunting me, their sinister grins and painted faces a constant reminder of the inescapable horror that surrounded me. I stumbled upon a chamber filled with oversized animatronic clowns, their mechanical eyes following my every move. It was a grotesque mockery of a funhouse, and I knew that I had to find a way out before the clowns closed in. As I pressed on, the laughter seemed to converge from all directions, closing in on me like a suffocating shroud. I could feel the malevolent presence of the circus itself, as if it were a living, breathing entity, intent on consuming my very soul. I turned a corner and found myself in a room filled with mirrors. The reflections were distorted and grotesque, and I couldn't help but catch glimpses of the white-masked clown among them. It was as if it were taunting me, urging me to confront my deepest fears. With a sinking feeling, I realized that there was no way out. I was trapped in this nightmare, a pawn in the circus's sadistic game. The laughter grew louder, more frenzied, until it was a deafening cacophony that threatened to drive me to madness. In my desperation, I reached out and touched one of the mirrors. It rippled like water, and before I knew it, I was pulled into its depths. I found myself in a dark, nightmarish realm, a twisted carnival that stretched into infinity. The clown in the white mask stood before me, its crimson eyes burning with malevolence. "Welcome to the eternal circus," it said, its voice a chorus of tortured souls. "You are one of us now, bound to this never-ending nightmare." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I was trapped in a nightmarish carnival, a prisoner of the circus of shadows, condemned to an eternity of horror. As I stood there, surrounded by the haunting laughter of the clowns, I knew that I would never escape the darkness that had consumed me. I had become a part of the circus, a performer in a never-ending show of terror, forever lost in the twisted world of the shadows. Please subscribe and hit the like button to support this channel for more scary horror stories.